Hi guys, Trevor Swenson back with Through the Darkness, my personal journey with PTSD and trauma and stressor-related disorder. Today I wanted to talk about 3 centering questions. And when I talk about centering questions, I'm talking about questions for myself that have really become the centerpiece for my struggle and journey through PTSD. To be honest with you, I've talked very openly about the fact that I should not even be here today. And my family knows that I should not be here today, and my providers know that I should not be here today. And whether it be suicidal ideation or major depressive disorder or chemical dependency, I just shouldn't be here. An interesting thing started to happen to me as I walked through this journey of PTSD, and I started noticing that the people that I deeply respect and listen to when it comes to deep wisdom, I find that almost without exception, all of them went through extremely dark seasons in their lifetime. And to say that they are incredible people, the hands and feet of Jesus, would be an understatement. And so I started to look at my life a little bit differently and narrowed it down to 3 centering questions that I ask myself quite often, in spite of my PTSD, in spite of every single day being a difficult day, today being absolutely no different. It took me a long time to get outside today, but I listened to a good sermon. I did my devotional for the day and got the dogs ready, and we are out and about enjoying God's creation. The first question out of the 3 questions that are centering questions for me, that I believe I can picture God asking me these questions, is, how did you treat my people? How did you treat people in your lifetime, in your chance here on earth? How did you treat people? I know that love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself are the number 1 and 2 commandments that are in the Bible. And I really believe that God is going to ask me, how did you treat people? And I think about that a lot. And PTSD is something that when you have been hurting for so long and people do step into the picture and are compassionate and understanding and loving on you, it is incredibly moving and moves me in the very center as far as my desire to be perceived as that person to other people that come into contact with me. So number 1 is, how did you treat people? Number 2 is, what did you do with your God-breathed talents that I gave you? The specific talents that I gave just you. The specific purpose that I gave just you. And I want to make sure that I'm honoring of those talents, and I want to make sure that when that question is asked of me, when my days are done on this earth, that I'm able to say, I did my best to glorify your name and to point people towards your son, Jesus. That's what I want my answer to be. And the third and final question is, what did you do with what I gave you? And in today's society, it's a society of whatever you have is never enough. It's a never-ending chase for more and more, and greed and arrogance and lack of humility and narcissism and hate and division and all of these things. And there's very little space, it seems to me, where people do self-reflection on being grateful for what they do have and letting God take care of the rest. And I really think that that is a question for myself that is very, very centering. What did you do with what I gave you? And was I grateful? Was I thankful? Did I share? Did I lend? What did I do with the things that I was blessed with in my life? What did I do with my kids? What did I do with my wife? Did I honor my wife? Did I teach my kids the right ways? Did I show them what a father, a loving, healthy, compassionate, fair, firm father looks like? And so I asked myself these three questions, and it becomes even more of a deep set of three questions for me when I recognize that today, on this beautiful day, as I sit up against this probably 200-year-old pine, that my time here on earth is very, very short. In fact, much shorter than the lifespan of this tree that I'm leaning up against. And so those three centering questions are maybe questions that you want to think about yourself, or maybe formulate three questions that are very purposeful and very unique to you, that keep you grounded, that keep you moving in a direction that makes a difference in this world in the short time that we have here. So my three questions are: how did you treat my people? What did you do with the talents that I breathed into you? And what did you do with what I gave you? And I found myself more and more relaxing and finding peace in dwelling on those three questions and trying to walk those questions out. Did people or did people not see my son, Jesus, when they interacted with you or when they listened to you? So I just wanted to share that with you today. Three very basic questions that have grounded me over the last year or two, just so you know what's going on inside of this head of mine, on top of the struggles with PTSD. I know that God is good. I know that God will see me through this journey that I'm on, and that His grace is more than enough. Please click subscribe. Please pass this on to somebody that you think might find it encouraging, that they might find hope in their suffering, their perseverance, and their character building. This is Trevor Swenson with Through the Darkness. I'll see you soon.